Jah Rastafari. We give thanks for life and a mighty life giver. Now we are back again in that whole time of what you call the COVID, and everybody is worried. Even in 2020, when that whole SARS-CoV-2 virus actually came out, we told everyone that, okay, all right, the COVID virus is caused by an mRNA virus, just like the flu virus and just like the HIV virus. Thus, it will be almost impossible to actually create a vaccine with high efficacy against the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Now, what is happening is that when someone is sick, they will actually treating everyone with what you refer to as if the COVID virus was a respiratory tract disease, and they were putting people on ventilators, and the majority of people that went on ventilators actually died. Why? Because the treatment modality was not one whereby people needed more oxygen. What happened is that the SARS-CoV-2 virus goes through a phase where you have intense virus replication, and it's called an mRNA virus because an mRNA means a messenger RNA, messenger ribonucleic acid. What that is, it means that you have an RNA, which is a ribonucleic acid, and then you have the DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid. So what we are talking about now, we are talking about specifically the genetic material of the physical structure is held in what you refer to as DNA, and then the RNA is basically a copy out of a piece of the DNA. So the RNA virus, the COVID virus, what it does is that it replicates itself via the physical structure, and then that code, that particular RNA code that is responsible for the production of the spike protein, goes out of your nucleus and then goes right into what we refer to as the endoplasmic reticulum, whereby the endoplasmic reticulum produces that spike protein. Now, the biggest issue with COVID is what we refer to as the clot formation. That's why many people develop what you call respiratory failure, breathlessness, and even when it went into the realms of what you call long COVID. What happened is that because of the spike proteins, this virus actually activated what we refer to as the coagulation cascade. It caused a level of inflammation within the blood vessels, and the spike proteins basically, because of, if you understand the whole coagulation cascade and the whole aspect of the platelets, and then the platelets getting activated into a dendritic form and then clumping together. So within the whole aspect of the coronavirus, what you had is that the spike protein initiated this actual clotting process that caused the coagulation of the platelets, and also the coagulation of your red blood cells. And then now, a further aspect of the clotting is what we refer to as the process whereby fibrinogen is actually converted to fibrin, and this fibrinogen is basically the precursor to this protein called fibrin, and fibrin gives our clots that structure, that strength that prevents it from actually breaking up. So naturally, within the physical structure, after you've had a clot to block down a wound or to stop bleeding, what happens, you have fibrinolysis, whereby you have plasmin, which is basically an enzyme that breaks down that fibrin into what we refer to as specific particles that's actually washed out of the physical structure via your liver and via your kidneys. With the whole realms of SARS-CoV-2 virus, the COVID virus, what happens is that you have the development of what you call microclots, and these microclots actually travels to what we refer to your capillary beds via your small blood vessels and actually clog them up. So when people were in the emergency rooms and the ICUs because of COVID, and they put them on the whole aspect of the oxygen mask and the ventilators, most of these people died on ventilators. Why? Because when you actually provide more oxygen to someone who is actually suffering from blood clots and not respiratory failure, you are actually speeding up the clotting process. So the people who were actually placed on ventilators, most of them died. Right? So the new process of dealing with the COVID now is actually helping to thin the blood and prevent that whole clotting. Because if it is that the vessels going to your kidneys are actually clogged up with micro clots, they'll prevent the kidneys from getting blood. If the lungs have blood clots, they'll prevent the lungs from actually functioning properly and your physical structure getting the right amount of oxygen. If your heart vessels has blood clots, they'll prevent your heart muscles from actually getting enough blood, enough oxygen, enough nutrients, and thus leading to what you call cardiac arrest, or what we refer to as ischemic heart disease, because of the lack of blood supply to a particular muscle within the heart. So it is critical that we understand that apart from the fact that the virus itself produces that spike protein on its membrane that causes that whole coagulation cascade, we also have the vaccine that was injected. The mRNA vaccine that was injected contains what we refer to as the RNA, which is the code for the production of that spike protein. So when this vaccine was injected into your bloodstream, it caused your physical structure, your cells, to begin to produce that very spike protein that actually causes the blood clot formation or the coagulation cascade. So people who took the vaccines, many people develop what you call micro clots, and now you have what you call the COVID clots, and this is very critical. That is why at the Mount Kailash Rejuvenation Center, even from 2020 and before, we had, in the whole combat of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, we had the answer, very critical, the answer to boost up the immune system, to help your immune system to actually fight the disease from the inception, and also regulate the whole aspect of your mast cell activation, because your mast cells which is basically an immune system cells, is also involved in the whole inflammatory process and the allergic reaction process. So the answer specifically has been very, very successful, high level of efficacy in the boosting up of the immune system to prevent you first and foremost from contracting the COVID virus. Now, if it is that you contracted the COVID virus, the SARS-CoV-2, or you took the vaccine, many people have what you call long COVID, L-O-N-G, COVID, whereby you have COVID long after you had COVID, meaning because the spike proteins are still circulating in your bloodstream, hence causing the formation of microscopic blood clots, small clots that actually goes into your capillary beds, block the capillary beds, block the blood vessels, preventing the delivery of blood to very, very important blood vessels. So what happens then is that these organs shut down and they actually fail. So how we treat people with long COVID and people who actually have the COVID virus, apart from the fact that we have them on the answer, we have them on the free flow. The free flow and another product called the pure gold. Now the free flow contains what we refer to as your turmeric, and also contains carpenter bush. Turmeric contains curcumine, right, which is very effective as a blood thinner. The carpenter bush contains coumarin, which is very effective also as a blood thinner. And the carpenter bush also helps to work in regulating or mediating the whole action of what you call your mast cells in the production of what you refer to as histamine in the allergic response, in the allergic response reaction, whereby you also have the production of what we refer to as heparin, which is also a blood thinner. So it is critical that when we are actually dealing with our clients with SARS-CoV-2 virus, or the people who have taken the vaccine, and from the time that they have taken the vaccine are slow, they are lethargic, they have heavy breathing, they have all the symptoms of COVID or all the symptoms of long COVID. The great majority of our clients who have come to us specifically when it comes to the whole aspect of long COVID, the free flow and the pure gold, which contains the turmeric, also contains cayenne pepper, and also contains Spanish needle, Bidens pilosa, and contains all these particular herbs that are literally based or created in the spirit of actually disintegrating clots. That's why this is called the free flow, and it was created before the SARS-CoV-2 virus or before the COVID, because we always deal with herbs that actually deal with feeding the blood and preventing clots. So this specific product contains carpenter bush, Justicia pectoralis, right? It also contains curcumine coming from the turmeric. It also contains coumarins, also coming from the D. japana, contains the bay leaf, that's a blood thinner, contains also the cinnamon, that's a blood thinner, and it actually also contains cayenne pepper that helps to regulate or make the blood flow faster to prevent stagnation and also what we call coagulation. So this product here, definitely, if it is that you are suffering from COVID or you've received the COVID vaccine and you want to detoxify and cleanse from that vaccine, give us a link, send us a message, send us a DM, and definitely will help you get over this travesty. So as you know, COVID is in the air again. Boost up your immune system, get your answer, and if it is that you never had your time to get the answer and did get the COVID, definitely get the free flow and also get the pure gold to thin the blood and to prevent all these microclots from damaging your life. That is why all these artists and all these athletes used to just drop down on the fields, drop down on the courts. Why? Because of a lack of the delivery of blood to the vital organs, specifically their heart, right? And also the lungs. So we have it for you. We have natural products with no side effects, only effects to help to thin the blood, help to break down the clots naturally, utilizing herbs like your D. japana, like your carpenter bush, like your curcumine, and also contains specific proteolytic enzymes, because a key aspect of the long COVID is also the permanence of fibrin within the whole aspect of your clots. Naturally, this fibrin is supposed to actually be broken down through a process called fibrinolysis, but it's not happening. So specifically, the proteolytic enzymes in your papaya called papain, or in your pineapple called bromelain, all these things, they could be utilized to actually break down that fibrin to help to dissolve or break down all these microclots to help you to regain your life and put it back on track. Definitely send us a DM to assist you to champion the cause of bringing yourself forward to 100%, detoxifying your physical structure from the spike proteins and preventing the formation of the microclots. Blessed love.